Good evening, Yankees Nation. I'm Ken, and you're here on The Ugly Truth. Uh, Today, we're going to do a series preview of the Yankees versus the Mariners. Uh, so, before that, if you haven't, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and share this channel out. Any help that y'all may provide would be most appreciated. The the most amazing thing happened over the last couple of days. I've picked up a boatload of subscriptions, and I actually have 176 subscribers currently. I want to thank everybody, all the new subscribers. I can't see them per se, but because some people have their information set on privacy. Hey, Tommy, Landon, David, Jonathan, appreciate y'all being here. For game one, it's going to be tomorrow at 7:05. It's going to be on the Yes Network. The Mariners are going to bring Logan Gilbert to the mound versus our Will Warren. I will be doing the play-by-play for that and should come on right about 7 o'clock or so. I'll set that stream up later this evening, and just keep your eyes out for notifications and whatnot. I can do that, Landon. Game two is going to be on at 7:05 also on Wednesday. That is going to be on Amazon Prime, and Logan Evans is going to be on the bump for the Tigers, or for the Mariners, excuse me. And Cam Schlittler will be making his major league debut for the Yankees. I will not be streaming that one. That one's going to be Joe at NY Yankee Mania. And when I get done bowling, because Wednesday's my bowling night for leagues, I will hop on and give him a hand as best as possible. Game three is going to be at 7:05, and that one's going to be on the Yes Network. And I will be doing the play-by-play for that one. So hence, I'll be calling 2 out of the 3 games for sure. And that one is going to feature the Mariners ace Brian Wu going up against Marcus Stroman. The Mariners on the season are 48-42. They're currently in second place in the AL West. They're 7 games behind the Houston Astros. In the last 10 games, they're 7-3 and are on a 3-game winning streak. When the Mariners face up against teams with a greater than 500 record, they're 17-20, which puts them at about a 46% win clip. Their road record is, and their run differential is plus 22. So they're pretty much scoring just a tad bit more than their opponents. Their road record is 23-21, and that's a 52% clip. Over the past month, the Mariners are 5-4-2 with series wins versus the Guardians, the Cubs, the Twins, the Rangers, and the Pirates. For our New York Yankees, we have been in a free fall. We've probably played some of the worst ball that I've seen in the last 20 years or so. And our current record is 49-41. We're in second place in the AL East, three games behind the Blue Jays. In the past 10 games, we are 3-7, with us breaking a 6-game losing streak on Sunday. I can't remember a time that we've had a road trip that we lost that many games. We went 1-6 So that's very, very bad. When Yankees are facing teams that have a greater than 500 record, we're 21 and 26. It's about a 46% clip. Our run differential is fantastic. Hey, Nettie, how's it going? Hey, Joe, Merck, Nelly. Appreciate y'all hopping into the stream. The boys have scored a lot of runs in short stint games. When we've played bad, we're still scoring a lot of runs over this last run of losses, but our bullpen has not held up, and we've had some key injuries to hey Junior, Rockies fan. We've had some very bad outings. Our bullpen, every time we've managed to get close, our bullpen has let it slip away. Yesterday, we were having issues, and there were two fantastic defensive plays. One by Cody Bellinger, a shoestring catch and a double play, and the other one, Paul Goldschmidt, a unassisted double play. That basically those two plays ended up saving our bacon. Hey, Dev, how's it going? For the Yankees, our home record is 26 and 17. That puts us winning about 60% of our games. In the past month, our series record is 4 and 6. Hey, Wizard, how's it going? Thanks for hopping in the stream. That puts us at about a 60% clip. We are 4 and 6 in our series records over the last month. We've taken a lot of losses to the Mets, the Blue Jays, the Reds, Angels, and the Red Sox times 2. So we're getting beat like a freaking drum. The pitching matchups. Logan Gilbert is going to be on the bump for game 1. He's 2-2 with a 3.40 ERA. He has 74 strikeouts on the season. He has basically 5 pitches that he's featuring: a slider that he throws at 87 miles an hour about 36% of the time, a four-seam fastball that's running at 95. He throws out about 31% of the time, a splitter that is at 82 miles. He throws out at about 21% of the time. The other 2 pitches he has in his back pocket are a curve and a sinker. If you were to look at his savant stats, over 90% of his stats are in the red great zone. The remainder of his stats are in the league average. So this guy, he truly doesn't have any weak spots, and he was one of the core building pieces to the Mariners rotation. He primarily pitches in the upper zone. He relies on movement to keep hitters barrels off of his pitches. In his last 2 outings, he doesn't have a win. He was no decision on both of them. One of the games was against the Rangers. He went 5 1/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, a walk, a hit by pitch, a homer, 4 earned runs, and he had 7 strikeouts. In his other outing, he went 4 2/3 innings against the Royals, gave up 3 hits, 3 base on balls, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. Hitters going up against him are hitting at about a 201 clip. So that's about 48 points below league average. So how's it going, Merck and Boxy? Cold Italian pizza. People keep hopping in, and I appreciate that. If you could, please hit the like button, share the channel out, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, that is. Gilbert is going to be facing off against Will Warren. Will Warren, as you know, is a very young pitcher for the Yankees. He is 5-4 on the season with a 5.02 ERA. He has 107 strikeouts, which leads all rookie starters this year. He features 4 pitches, a 4-seam/2-seam fastball, runs at 93 miles an hour, throws it about 34% of the time or 39% of the time. He has a sweeper that's 82 miles an hour. He throws about 22% of the time, and a sinker that's 93 that he throws about 20% of the time. He also has a changeup and a curve in his back pocket. His real true plus attributes is he has a lot of run on his fastball. He's got good extension, which makes his fastball look a little bit faster than it actually is. And he has a high K and high whiff rate. Hey Sadie, how's it going? Roscoe. Uh, the uh, the deal with or his negatives is when he gets hit, it's hard. He tends to walk a few too many batters. He doesn't have a high chase rate, and the exit velo is very high. Uh, Warren relies on movement on his 2 and 4-seam fastballs, and an absolute must for him is he has to stay out of the middle of the strike zone with his breaking stuff. When he hasn't, he has lasted very few innings and has been hit hard. In his last outing, it was a miracle no decision. Hey, Max, welcome to the stream. It was a no decision. He only managed 4 innings. He gave up 10 hits, 4 base on balls, 2 home runs, 8 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. Hey, Jake. 4 strikeouts, and batters are hitting 240, so that's 9 points below league average. For game 2, the Mariners are going to run out Logan Evans. He's 3-2 on the season, 2.96 ERA with 33 strikeouts. He features 6 pitches, cutter 87 miles an hour about 27% of the time, a sweeper 83 miles an hour about 25% of the time, and a sinker that runs at 92. He throws it at about 15. He's got a changeup, 4-seamer, and curve that he throws inconsistently, and will pull those out of his pocket at any given time. His plus attributes are he has a lot of run on his off-speed pitches, and he doesn't tend to walk people. All the rest of his pitches are low. He has low strikeout weight, low whiff rate, low fastball velo. His last outing was a no decision versus the Royals. He went 5 1/3 innings, gave it 3 hits, a base on balls. He hit 2 batters, did not give up an earned run, and had 3 strikeouts. He is going to be coming up against Cam Schlittler for his hey Weelo. Welcome to the stream. Schlittler will be making his major league debut. Obviously, he has no baseball savant stats. He, like I said, is making his major league debut. What he does have is a 4-pitch repertoire. He throws a 4-seam fastball, a curveball, a slider, and a changeup. Past that, I can't give you much because I really don't know, and there's not a lot out there on him. He's been doing well. He advanced. Hey, Nancy, how's it going? He advanced from AA to AAA recently, and he's held his own up at the AAA level. So, that being said, he's making his major league debut. Fans, I would not be surprised. Hey, Rebel, if we got 5 innings out of him, and that would be about it. And that would be acceptable. I think he'll keep us in the game. Where my discussion and worry point is our bullpen. I'm not sure that with the hard-hitting team that they have, that the Mariners have, that we can actually hold them off. There hasn't been any evidence of it. We haven't made any significant moves. Uh, all right, let's see. A couple of notes from Jonathan. Dodgers recalled outfielder James Outman, selected his contract and selected the contract of Julian Fernandez. They optioned Justin Warblez, ski down, and placed Kiki Hernandez on the IL. In order to make 40-man room, the Dodgers designated infielder C.J. Alexander for assignment. All right. Hey, Stella. Hey, Waffles. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Game 3 in the series is going to feature Brian Wu for the Mariners. He's 8-4 on the season. Hey, Dragon. Well, I'll tell you what. The Dodgers have had a heck of a lot of injuries this season. I venture to say there's probably about $90 million worth of salary on the IL with unknown return times. But the team is resilient. They just keep winning. So I don't know. Last year they went to the series and they had three-fifths of their starting rotation on the shelf, and still managed to get past our Yankees and ended up winning the championships. I don't have an explanation. Brian Wu features 5 pitches, a 4-seamer that he runs up at 95, 96 miles an hour. He throws that about 43% of the time. He has a sinker that's 95. He throws 27% of the time, and an 88 mile an hour slider that he throws 13%. He's got a changeup and a sweeper in his repertoire. He is their staff ace. He has no discernible weaknesses. Every one of his savant stats are sitting very high. In his last outing, he only pitched. He got a win against the Pirates. He pitched 6 innings, gave it 3 hits, 2 walks, no earned runs, and had 6 Ks. And that's a typical Wu outing. Like I said, they've got a very strong starting rotation, even though they've had injuries. He's going to be facing up against Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman is 1-1 on the season with a 7.45 ERA. He has 12 strikeouts. Nelly, what do I think about the Padres? The Padres are a great organization. They've got some fantastic ball players. I think with the comeback of Darvish, he is going to be an impact guy. Surprised that Dylan Cease is not pitching better than he is. He is a high quality pitcher. A lot of people have talked that the Padres may be. Hey, Jason, how's it going? May be willing to move some players at the deadline, but I'm not really seeing it because they're very competitive in the AL West. I mean, the AL West is brutal. You've got the Dodgers at the top. You've got the Padres. You've got the Giants, and lurking in the background are always there the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like I said, highly competitive. Jake, that's funny. I'm not sure that I'd want to put the kid out against Wu for his major league debut. Do I think that the Rockies can get back to 500 again? If you're talking this season, not a chance in hell. Uh, there are just way too many holes on there. And the problem with Colorado is the altitude. They can't, pitchers who throw a lot of breaking stuff, uh, the breaking stuff doesn't work uh, in Colorado. Hey, Felix. And a lot of pitchers are very reluctant to go there. When the Yankees faced off against the Rockies last month, or as the month before last, we saw that with pitchers like Will Warren and Clark Schmidt. They rely heavily on breaking stuff, and they just could not get it to work. And one of the games that we lost, the one that Clark Schmidt pitched in, he was out by 4 2/3. Hey, NFE, welcome to the stream, brother. Appreciate you being here. So Colorado is a tough place to pitch. I think for the Rockies to improve, what they need to do is they need to move some of their assets. Not Tovar, because he's a fantastic ball player. There are a couple of bullpen arms, Halverson and Bird, that could possibly be moved. They're high leverage guys, and teams that are going to be competing for postseason play are all looking for that type of a pitcher. What they could bring back is potentially decent arms and grow them from within the system. Yeah, Junior, I'm definitely talking about a curveball. I'm talking about a slider too. You get a hell of a lot of you don't get a hell of a lot of break on that. Yeah, Tovar is one of the players that the Rockies are building their franchise off of. Absolutely no chance that they're going to let him go. Ryan McMahon, he could have potential trade value. That monster that's there at first base, he is huge, and he's got some pop in his bat. The outfield for the Rockies is pretty solid too. So I mean, truly, if you look at the core of the Rockies, uh, there is a good fundamental team there. The thing that they have to get under control is errors, because they have a lot of them, and that's to be expected with a young team. And you don't have depth at the starting pitching role. In the bullpen, breaking pitches aren't that much because a lot of bullpens have people that pitch off the fastball. Yeah, and Kalis, your Arizona Diamondbacks. I have a son who has been a Diamondbacks fan since before 2001, when they won the World Series against the Yankees. I have followed that team with my son. We watch almost every game, and the Diamondbacks are proof. 2 years ago, they went to the World Series playing from the wild card. Their payroll was very minimal, but they played small ball and they played it well. Hit and run, stealing bases, taking the extra baseman shot. They are living proof that a small market team can actually compete. I like players like Corbin Carroll. Alec Thomas, whenever he's hitting and consistent, is a good player. You guys traded for Naylor, who has done a fantastic job for y'all. Hey, Real Bill. Eugenio Suarez, I call the game that he hit 4 home runs, and that guy is just a monster. I think the Diamondbacks would be making a mistake if they let him walk. They should try to negotiate a deal with him. The issue that the Diamondbacks have right now is they brought in A.J. Puck, fantastic reliever, but he's been on the shelf for 2.5 months. Justin Martinez, a monster that, in my book, compares better than Mason Miller of the A's. He is capable of running a fastball up to 102 miles an hour, and then he follows with with like an 83-mile-an-hour slider. It almost seems unfair. Yep, Jake Bird is definitely one of the arms NFE that would be real good out of the bullpen. Halverson is another one that is pretty impressive from the Rockies pen. I am pretty much done with my pre-series review, so I'm going to drop the link, and anybody who wants to come up, certainly come up, and we can talk baseball. Hey, Jason, it's open for anybody, brother, and you can't join. That's fine. I know that you've got the at late night Jason Custodio at 7. They have a trivia game that's going on. It's pretty interesting, and I recommend people hop onto it. I believe the Mets are sitting at second, maybe a game and a half out behind the Phillies. All right, I got a couple of folks here. Okay, correction. If the trivia game is at 7:30, and I'm going to bring Jonathan up and Sean Brown. Well, all right, talk baseball. What do you got?
I think the Yankees are gonna make a trade for a third baseman. It's just gonna be the problem is I've been thinking about that all day, and I'm not exactly sure who they will trade. But I think they will either go after either McMahon or Hayes, and I can't tell you the package.
Okay. Why do you think McMahon or Hayes?
I think those are the two most likely options for the Yankees in terms of both they're reliable on defense. I mean, Hayes will be a defensive first.
Hey, John the Beagle Dad.
Hayes and McMahon will both bring solid defense, and they will add a little bit of bat.
Okay.
Where do you go?
I'm here.
No, just like Jonathan got kicked out while he been talking. But yeah,
Jonathan's been having issues with StreamYard here lately. He keeps getting bounced.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I'm trying to.
I think it's because he was talking about McMahon.
I'm trying to change my definition of my stream. I'm good.
All right.
I said McMahon or Hayes.
Okay. And there he goes again.
Yeah. I think StreamYard has a problem with either McMahon or Hayes.
Could be. All right, we got NFE sitting in the hopper, so we'll bring him up. Hey, NFE, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Hey, Desiree, glad to see you here. Marshall.
Yeah, I figured out a few minutes, and I haven't jumped on one of these in a while. So, with you,
it's been a while.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Yankees trades this series?
series, against the Mariners coming up, I'm more worried about their pitching. The pitching is something I'm going to be worried about. Their bats. I mean, they got some guys in that lineup that could hit. Cal Raleigh, obviously, he's the most obvious name. But let's see how the Yankees do against their pitching. Mariners have good pitching, but there's a few guys once again in that lineup that can hit. In terms of trade deadline, well, I mean, I know everybody's on the. I've mentioned Suarez. I don't want McMahon. I do want Jake Bird. I saw him pitch live when I was at Coors Field, and I'll tell you what,
yeah.
he is good. He is good. I'm like, the Yankees should look into this guy. I think the Yankees should also, if I'm Brian Cashman, I'm calling the Washington Nationals. They just fired their GM and their manager. So who do they have available? I mean, Finnegan is good. I wouldn't. Maybe the Yankees could explore him. And if we're talking about a cheap rental, I'd say look at Ahmed Rosario. I think he gives you good defense. He could give you a little pop in the bat. It's better than what they have, and just move Jazz back over to second.
What I think is I don't disagree that we need to add an infielder / third baseman. But with Clark Schmidt's situation, I have the feeling that we're gonna need to add a starting pitcher, because the way our rotation lines out, that would put Warren and Stroman in the pocket.
Yeah,
we didn't trust Stroman enough to let him pitch one pitch during last postseason. So why the heck would I think we're going to use him as a starter at all?
I think inevitably they're going to have to look at a starter, but who's going to be that starter is the question. Because as you know, Ken, pitching comes at a
premium.
It comes at a very big premium, and teams are going to ask for a lot. And we know that we know teams are going to be looking for pitching. One guy I do not want is, and some fans have been talking about, is Sandy Alcantara. That is a huge no for me. And this guy's got an over 7 ERA, and I am not sure what the attraction is about that. Last I checked, having a high ERA was not so great. And when some of the Yankees pitchers have those high ERAs, they get ridiculed. So why do we want another guy like him on the team?
Well, I think the appeal is he's got controllability. He's just coming off of Tommy John surgery.
Right.
If you look at adding him, he's not going to help us this year.
No.
And the ultimate goal is for us to be able to take it back to the series. Sandy Alcantara is not that difference maker, and he's going to cost us. We don't have that many bullets in the chamber to be making acquisitions. And one of the things, Brenna, yeah, the Raleigh Rodriguez combination is scary. For me, they're more scary because of our bullpen. We haven't had a solid bullpen in 10 days. We got injuries there, and I don't see anything drastically changing unless we can pull a trade off to get at least one arm in here, maybe two. What my thoughts are with regard to the deadline, for us to get a frontline type starter, it's going to cost us Ben Rice. We just don't have that many assets left, and he is a quality player. Andrew Abbott may be one that the Reds may be interested in parting ways with.
Who?
Andrew Abbott.
Okay.
He is one of their number 3 starters, or their number 3 starter, but he's pitching like a 1 this entire season.
That could be a possibility. Yeah,
he's a possibility. of course, the mention from Jason from 161 River Ave, Merrill Kelly is a possibility if the Diamondbacks decide to move some players.
Yeah, I think you know what I think. I think if the Yankees are going to look into starting pitching, what I think is strictly going to be a rental. That's what I think. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to want anybody with like controllable years. So like Merrill Kelly could be a guy because he's a free agent right after the season,
Right.
and so I think for controllable years, I think they'd rather get the bullpen arms because that's just what Cashman does, as you know, right? So if they do get a starter, it's going to be slim pickings. So that's another thing we need to be aware of. It's just going to be completely like slim pickings. And but yeah, Merrill Kelly would fit that bill because he'd strictly be a rental. And I think any starting pitcher that they look at is going to be a rental. I don't think it's going to be a pitcher with long years and a lot of money tied to them because Hal is not trying to take on more money either.
Keller is one that I think is a possibility that we might take a look at. Hey, Susan, how's it going? John the Beagle Dad. There are definitely some arms out there that'll be available. I'm not thinking that we'll be in the Peralta sweepstakes or any of those high guys. I think if we get anybody for the rotation, it's going to be a number 3. One of the ones that has been talked about possibly being moved is Walker Buehler with the Red Sox.
That's a pass for me.
Understood, but when they're looking at Buehler or Stroman, I think they're going to go with Buehler, not Stroman. I'm thinking they're still trying to move Stroman, actually, but you never can tell. With regard to bullpen arms, there are bullpen arms, I think, that are out there that can be gotten that are not going to cost us the farm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that Reed Detmer out of the Angels organization. He's a left-handed bullpen arm. He's got a couple of years of control.
Yeah, he was a starter.
Hank Jr. take on the Athletics. Solid bullpen, very fast outfield. Some real good pieces there. I think they're making a good move towards building a team that gets to Las Vegas. I don't believe that the A's are going to be sellers, and if they move anybody, they're going to try to dump that Severino contract because he hasn't measured up, and he's openly complained about playing in y'all's home park, and he's there for at least 2 more seasons.
Yeah, the Athletics have some good talent that now they just need to build around it. I think it'll take some time.
Another pitcher that I think that we could possibly go after from Pittsburgh would be David Bednar.
Mm-hmm.
He's solid. Definitely Jake Bird is one that they will make a push for. Do I think they could be a playoff team in 2 years? Most definitely.
I can see it.
And one that's off the radar, he's only got a year of controllability left, is Chris Martin from the Rangers. If you pull their savant stats up, what you're going to find on these pitchers is guys that have a strikeout range of 10 plus, and where we're 10 plus per 9, and where we're going to look to patch is our leverage pitchers in the back end, because I think personally that Weaver is still hurt the way he's throwing, and if he keeps throwing, he's not going to get any better. Loizaga hasn't pitched back to form yet. I mean, he's coming off a TJ, and I thought the first year was going to be an issue. That's why we put a second-year option on him. Hamilton was somebody that we wanted to rely upon, but that guy can't seem to find a strike zone, and he's in love with the slurve, which he can't get anywhere near the plate unless it's a cement mixer.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Ian Hamilton. He's definitely not that Terminator that we all knew. This season he's off. Another pitcher I wouldn't mind just because I do want the Yankees to add another lefty. I know they have Ryan Yarborough, but I don't know if the Yankees plan on keeping him as a starter or as a bullpen arm when he gets back. We'll see. But another guy I wouldn't mind, and I think he'd be beneficial, would be Jojo Romero from the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah. But, see, the Cardinals are one of those teams for me. I'm not convinced that they're going to be sellers at all. They're pretty competitive in the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
The Cubs are running away with it. There's no chance that they're going to catch the Cubs.
Right.
But they could definitely be competitive in the wild card race.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at the wild card right now, Ken, real quick. They're a game behind. So, the Giants are – so your top three wild card teams as of right now are Mets, Brewers, Padres. I mean, anything could change. But the Giants are not, are lurking. The Cardinals are lurking. But it's going to be tough for the Cardinals, I think. I mean, I think they're going to contend. But they're going to have to contend with a couple of those NL West teams. And those NL West teams are really, really good. So, there's no question the Dodgers are going to run away with their division, but they're also got to deal with the Padres and Giants. And they're not having a bad season either. So, and the Reds are lurking, especially with Francona being their manager. The Reds are making some noise as of late. So,
I've got a few people in the queue. I'm going to add Jonathan. He's probably going to get dropped. He has been. And
Sean just left. I don't know if he just left or he got dropped, but.
Hi.
Hey.
So,
Sean, are you here?
So far, Yasin is here. So far, 2 minutes and it hasn't dropped me.
StreamYard's been acting funny. I've been having people drop, and they got Yasin device not connected.
I'm curious if they're going through an update.
Could be.
Before last week, I never had this trouble in the 3 years I've been joining you and NFE and Jason and Hector.
Jason, what would you trade Rice for? There he goes, gone again.
Rice pitching. It's simple as that.
Without a doubt, he would. Pitching. All right, Sean is back. All right, Sean, what do you know?
No, sorry, my fat fingers. I hit the wrong button trying to get the right button. But yeah, no. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. But yeah, I see us making a trade. I see us making 3 or 4 trades. And starting pitching is a need now with Schmidt down to TJ surgery. That we desperately need a starter, but like a 4 or 5 guy. And then like Abbott would be one of the guys I would go for. Or even Merrill Kelly would be an interesting one. But then we need a couple bullpen arms. And then I see us making a third base. I see us making a third baseman or infield just to kind of strengthen the bench. I mean, that's the only reason I could see us going with trying to go for Ryan McMahon or even Hayes. and then you keep hearing us linked with Suarez, but I don't think the Diamondbacks are gonna trade one of their best players right now. And he's
With
gonna cost money.
You're saying with Suarez?
Yeah,
Well,
Eugenio
see,
Suarez is a great player. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not saying he isn't a great player, but the thing is, he's going to be a free agent after the season. And Arizona is not going to be a playoff contender, you might as well trade him and try to get some value back. I mean, if I'm the
Yeah.
Diamondbacks, that's the way I would think, because he's a free agent after the season. So hey, you could trade him, get something of value back, and get prepare for next season. Just throwing it out there, because they got a couple they got a couple guys that are going to be free agents. So why not try to get something back?
I think that the Diamondbacks will probably try to move Naylor too,
because Naylor's going to be a free agent after the season, right? Yeah, I mean,
yep.
So teams are going to be looking for a big bat. So hey, they got So if they could be one of the teams that are sellers, and teams are going to be reaching out. So the ball's in their court if that's the case.
Susan, I do not see Cashman trading Spencer Jones.
No way.
I think that we're going to see Spencer Jones called up in September.
Yeah,
I'm seeing that too.
I was looking last night at the minor league prospect list, and the ETA for Spencer Jones to be called in the majors, they said 2025. So either it's a September call up, which most likely will probably happen, or they may call him up after August 1st.
What they're not going to want to do is the same thing they did with Dominguez last year. They're not going to want to go exceed 130 at bats and can his first year of pre-arb.
Right.
They want to give him a full rookie year because they.
So that's why I could conceive. That's why I conceivably see him as a September call-up this year.
Yeah,
and we only get two. And I was thinking Cam Schlittler was going to be the other one, but he's already here.
Schlittler, maybe they wanted to do that with Schlittler, but the injury gave them their choice. Plus, they had to keep Schlittler. They had to put him on the 40 man.
Yeah.
The other thing too is I know it's real quick with Suarez. I know Suarez is a rental, but the Yankees aren't. I mean, I know the Yankees take on his contract, but I don't. Is that prorated or?
Yes, it's prorated.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, it's prorated. I wasn't.
Yeah, because he's owed $15 million for this season. So
we're probably going to bring him in with 7.5.
7.5. Yeah, I mean that's why I when going back to what I said, and maybe they, this is where the Yankees could call up the Nationals and go after Rosario, because he's not going to cost that much. He's going to cost. He's getting paid $2 million this season. So talk about savings. But sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
No, I mean, and then I'm also thinking we also signed Candelario, but I'm not sure if that was just a stockpile, which made me thinking that there's going to be multiple trades. The signing to minor league of Candelario, whose bat is disappeared, but his glove is, major league ready.
Candelario's issue is he's been injured a lot.
Yeah.
And for me personally, those type of players scare the crap out of me.
Yeah, that is true.
Hey, you seen?
But then what I was gonna say with Suarez, you're looking at either a 4-for-1 or a 4-for-2 if we can maybe package in a reliever from the D-backs. But I know they're hurting us pitching wise.
They're hurting bullpen wise. I think that they would gladly take on a pitcher like Ian Hamilton.
If you give him like Ian Hamilton, I'm not going to say JT Brubaker. I'll say maybe Scott Efros, because he comes with some controllable years. He could be a possibility.
I see Efros. I see Hamilton, and then either Pereira or Vivas.
Pereira makes sense. There's really no room for him.
They don't have a need for the Diamondbacks. Don't have a need for an infielder. They have a glut of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well maybe not an infielder, but I see maybe a one or two position players, and then a few, about what, two or three bullpen arms, like Hamilton, Efros.
Don't count out. Don't count out some of the higher ranked arms that we have sitting at AAA, like starts with an R.
Reselman?
Yeah, Reselman.
Yep.
He could possibly be on the move. I think that they would look, the Diamondbacks, if they were looking for acquisition, they would take two arms, Hamilton being one, possibly Reselman as two, as a sweetener. That's a lot of years of controllability. So I would ask for the farm. I would ask for Suarez, and I would ask for Kelly, because they're both expiring contracts. They're going to get a lot of years of control out of arms that they could possibly groom. And honestly, I don't think that Hamilton has a future with New York.
Mm-mm.
And Reselman will just be a sacrificial lamb.
You know another name that we didn't mention?
Who's that?
Clayton Beater.
I think the teams will be leery about Beater. I think Beater's going to get moved personally, but I think teams will be leery because of his injury history.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the Yankees top prospect list. Go ahead.
Winans.
Winans is not truly a rookie. He is a journeyman pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's a guy that can be a starter or he can be a reliever. But it's kind of more set of a long relief.
Okay.
You know, another name.
You got anything to add?
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Yassine. He's been quiet.
You heard that the Royals are trying to that you might trade San Lugo at the deadline if they don't make the playoffs.
Trade who?
Seth Lugo.
Seth Lugo.
Seth
if they're
Lugo.
If they're out of playoff contention.
Would you consider him?
Yeah, I'll consider him.
How about you, NFE?
Seth Lugo? I want to look at his stats real quick. I think he'd be a solid. He'd be a good 3 or 4.
What about Edward Cabrera from the Marlins?
That's probably going to cost you an arm and a leg.
I was about to say that's not a cheap thing. And if we're trying to add 3 bullpen arms, he's probably not one of them.
Yeah, I mean, Seth Lugo is 6-5 with a 2.65 ERA. I like that ERA. The Yankees can really use that ERA.
Is Lugo pitching out of their rotation, or is he pitching out of their pen?
He's a rotation.
Well, I know he's bounced between both.
He's been a starter, to my not in the last couple of seasons or a few seasons at least, right?
Well, he might be somebody that we could target if made available.
In the last 2 years, he's been a contender for the Cy Young. He's right now 3rd in the AL Cy Young as it stands, behind Tarek Skubal and Max Fried.
So keep in mind too with Lugo, he has a player option for next season, and he's owed $15 million for that season. So just kind of keep that in mind if that changes anything.
He is a guy that consistently will give you 6 innings.
He can. So he might be worth it.
What about Joe Ryan from the Twins?
Is he a bullpen guy or a starter?
Starting pitcher.
What's his name?
Joe Ryan.
Joe
Joe
Ryan.
Ryan.
Maybe if you get
I
Joe
haven't.
Ryan, then maybe Duran from the Twins.
Yeah, I mean his ERA is not too bad. He's got a WHIP of .89 this season.
That means he's not walking anybody.
That's a good thing. I mean, Twins should be sellers. 8-4 record, 2.76 ERA in 18 games. I would entertain. That's a possibility. What is his contract looking like?
I think he has 4 years left.
I mean, he's a free agent he's a free agent in 2028, so he's under team control for this season, 26 and 27. Well, what's the ask going to be? That's the thing. Like that's the big thing with some of these guys with controllable years. What's the ask going to be, especially for a starting pitcher?
And I mean, truly, the thing that you have to look with starting pitchers, why I think the Yankees would be more favorable on picking up an expiring contract, because next year you're going to end up with Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Luis Hill, and possibly Warren as a 5 or Yarbrough as a 5. So, we would be definitely stacked for rotation purposes. And where the hell are you going to ditch anybody else?
So I'm saying, yeah, I'm in agreement with you there, Ken. If they're going to go after a starting pitcher, it's got to be strictly a rental because, I like the names that we're talking about, but they got to go after the ones that are going to be free agents after the season. They have to think short term with this when it comes to the starting pitching because Cole's going to be back next season, right? So, there's a lot. Yeah, I don't know.
Cole's going to be back, but then also here's the other thing. We got to see how Warren's going to adjust to this getting shelled by these against these teams. Now that batters have kind of figured him out, they've gotten a scouting report on Will Warren.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind though, Warren's a rookie. Who
he's gonna make an adjustments.
Yeah, he's gonna make. That's the thing. You got to. He's a rookie, and that's the other thing with all these prospects that come up. Once again, managing expectations. You can't expect these guys to be superstars. I mean, you get those rare players, yes. Paul Skeens is a rare. He's one of those guys, but that's Paul Skeens. But not every player is gonna come up and be Paul Skeens or some other superstar.
Terry Skubal,
right?
The kid down with the Pirates.
I'm saying that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking forward to seeing how Warren adjusts. Now that he's had these, the Dodgers hit him hard. The Blue Jays hit him pretty good. And these other teams that are high contact, low strikeout, they've kind of figured him out to a certain degree. But I want to see how he adjusts and then he gets to him,
Only time will tell.
Yeah. Because, I mean, there's enough tape for other teams to look at him.
No problem, Jonathan.
Do you think the Braves are going to sell?
Should.
They should sell. The question is, who would they make available?
Right.
Are you thinking Albies maybe?
They've about extended half their team.
They've got, like I said, they've got a lot of contracts for team-friendly deals. Cool. So I can't see them moving a lot. Some of the guys that may be on expiring contracts. But would they truly be compatible with the Yankees? I'm not sure. I don't think so.
And then the other thing is you got Chris Sale on that team, but he's at the tail end of his career.
Yeah, I'm not trading for Chris Sale. I don't give a damn. His injury history is long and extensive.
Right.
He started the year out injured. He was injured towards the latter part of last year when they needed him. Forget it. I'm not even thinking about him.
Right. They ain't gonna trade Spencer Strider because they banked
No.
on him as their ace, and let Max Fried walk, which I'm thankful for. You know.
The Braves said they're not trading Chris Sale. GM said they're not
No,
trading him.
they're not, because the thing with Chris Sale that's got interest around him is that he possibly can get 300 wins and probably be the last pitcher to do so, because I don't see other pitchers getting that many wins the way that the game is now.
Menifee, is that what the Astros and the O's did? They tanked. Yeah, New York is nothing.
I was being sarcastic with that comment, folks. I wasn't being serious.
I was about to say that the Yankees will never rebuild. They will retool on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you what you said before.
All right, you agreed for about half a second. Not sure what you agreed to. However, such is life.
I feel for you, Jonathan. I hope your Wi-Fi stops.
It's got to be something on his end, though. I don't know if it's StreamYard. It has to be something on his end.
Yeah, he says he's been getting kicked for about a week or so from StreamYard.
Really? Because he was on one of my open panels last week, and he was fine. Like, there was no problems.
Yeah. But I think like what's happening to me is a war between the StreamYard end and Wi-Fi connections on your end.
Would you guys trade for Mitch Keller and David Bednar from the Pirates?
Those are two players that I'd be interested in taking a look at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it was reported earlier that we had a deal in place with the Pirates for Bednar for Peraza. Then the damn Pirates got greedy. They wanted an additional player, and the Yankees said no way, and that deal collapsed.
Oh, wow. What year was that?
That was this year.
Oh,
I would have done that in a heartbeat, but I'm curious. More players, but the Peraza for Bednar, I would do that in a heartbeat. But Cashman,
the initial deal was for Peraza and Bednar to swap, but then the Pirates wanted an additional body, and that's when Cash said no, we're not doing that. Yeah, and that came out from Jason 161 River Ave, source confirmed.
Oh yeah, I don't blame Cashman for walking away from that, because Bednar hasn't really been too. I mean, he's still David Bednar, but he hasn't been like he was a couple years ago. You know.
Well, he had a rough start this year. Got relieved from his closer duties. Came back, and he has been on point since then.
Kind of like Devin Williams. But yeah, I mean, but could you imagine if we had a bullpen where, if Weaver figures out and gets his hamstring right and gets his command back, but can you imagine a back end of Weaver, Bednar, Williams?
Well, right now I can't imagine a back end with Weaver at all.
I know, right? But I said if he can get his hamstring right and find a command again, because I mean, you know, pitching, when you use that hamstring with part of the the leg kick and all that, but also it helps to.
Well, for a pitcher, when you're pitching, you're driving your pitches with your legs. That's where you're getting your power from your pitches from. That's why I say I think he's still injured, because if you look at his fastball, his velocity is there, but he's not squaring up. He's over the top, and when he's throwing the ball, it's sailing high and to the left.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've seen him a few times pitching, and it seems like he's favoring something in his legs. I don't, because the way he comes back out after he pitches, it's just mechanically like his body's compensating for something. I don't know what for, but I can just tell the way the footwork is that there's something's off.
So maybe they should put Weaver on profile.
Yeah, maybe. Hold on. I don't know why I'm getting one of those. But life. I mean, NFE, you could probably say it with your martial arts training and how footwork and your leg, when your body compensates, it kind of throws off.
I mean, with martial arts and baseball, I mean, it's gonna be a little different as far as how your
Right.
body moves, your hips. I mean, maybe, I mean, I can't really compare the two because there's different movements with how your hips move. So, I mean, that's one thing you can have in common is like the hip movement because everything comes from your hips. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Ken, but when you utilize your hips, that's where your power comes from, right?
Yep.
Right.
So,
Well, it's just like
cold Italian pizza comment. Guy who's having a real good season with the Pirates is ex-Yankee Dennis Santana. Any thoughts?
I mean, I don't know if I would entertain that. It didn't end up so well with him when he was with the Yankees. I mean, when he first started the season off, he was looking good, but then after what, a month or two, he started to kind of go downhill.
Is he suspended right now for that incident with the
fan? Yeah.
I think he's suspended, but I don't know how long, or I think he's under investigation from the league. They haven't announced a suspension yet.
All right. So if he has a pending suspension, definitely not. Although, looking at ex-baseball players that played for your team, it's sort of like a girlfriend. You don't ever go back and date the same girl that you kicked to the curb because whatever you fought about is still going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So it generally just doesn't work out. And with baseball players coming to teams, I think that if you had an issue on that team coming back again, it's probably not going to be so good for you.
Yeah. It's like you're just wondering, well, why couldn't you do it with
do you guys think the Guardians are gonna sell?
Nope.
Nah,
The Guardians.
I mean, even though they're on a 10-game losing streak, I think they're still going to try and contend.
Susan, I believe that Michael King still is on the IL.
I mean, would you be surprised? I mean, the last few years he's had had career years, and we converted him from a bullpen guy, a utility Swiss Army bullpen guy, to a starter. Had a great year, and then we traded him for Soto and Grisham, and then he had a career year last year with the. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that he's injured now.
Well, honestly, the conversion to making him a starter started with us. Mm-hmm. When we started making him an opener, and he would run 3 innings out. So that conversion started before he got to San Diego. They just took it to the next step.
Right. But
no problem.
I mean, he was a full-fledged starter before we traded him.
And King, he could come back to the Yankees. Not sure that we would bring him back because of what we have in our rotation and whatnot coming back next year. But he didn't leave because he was complaining or crying. We moved him to get Soto. If he wasn't in the
Eh,
package, we don't get Soto last year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was gonna say that was the deal maker, the king maker.
I was gonna say, Yassine mentioned the Guardians. I know I just looked them up. They're 7 games behind in the wild card, but I know there's plenty of baseball. They could still make that push. That's why I was wondering. Like, I don't know that they'll be sellers.
Well,
They
yeah,
could, I feel like they have the team to do it.
Well,
oh
they
yeah,
do,
and they all
especially when you got that combination of Ramirez and Quan,
Yeah,
plus that outfielder who seems to hit home runs every time he looks at the ball.
you know who
I think
Quan reminds me of? His hitting style. His hitting style reminds me of Ichiro. That slap, hit it the other way, head it to all field, slap hitting, and deadly speed.
Lou,
And then
if the Royals were sellers, I believe that they would trade everybody except Bobby Witt.
yeah. They signed him to an extension as well. So
well, yeah, I see 2 people, and they signed him to a 14-year extension too, or 14 or 15-year extension. So yeah, if they trade him, that's a long one. But the other one I see them not trading is Sal Perez.
Susan Cole will be back by May. As far as Schmidt is concerned, you may see him August, maybe September next year. He'll be out for the damn near the entire season.
Yeah,
What about a trade for Shelby Miller from the Diamondbacks?
Shelby Miller? No.
Yeah, from
No. He was a freaking choke artist as a pitcher, and I've watched him blow game after game after game. He's got some saves under his belt, and he's got some stuff, but he sure gives up the long ball a lot. And that is certainly
and
something
Arizona,
we need out of our bullpen. We're giving up enough
and,
long ball there.
and the AL East has smaller ballparks than the NL West. You know, Yankee Stadium's a smaller park than Arizona. So, yeah.
Cold Italian pizza. With regard to Soto, Yankees didn't have anything to do with that. That is all Brian Roberts.
you mean you're not going to blame Boone?
Why not? That's the usual talking point. It's
Yeah.
all Boone's fault.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. You tell me this. How the hell does Clayton Kershaw get on the All-Star team? He's the special commissioner's pick. Are you kidding me? The dude has pitched like 8 games in 2 years, and he's an All-Star?
I think he's going to secretly retire, and then also I think they're honoring him for the 3,000 for his 3,000 strikeout that he got the other.
Okay, so you're going to put him on the active roster as a player?
No, I think what they're going to do is have him there like they did with Yadi Molina and that other dude that was retiring the same year, where they were just like special. And then like you know that one year that CC Sabathia, where they had him there, but they used him like to come take out a pitcher, to, you know.
Pitching coach.
Yeah. You know, they had Yadi Molina didn't play on the field for the All-Star game a couple years ago, and the other guy, but they were like team captains, honorary team captains / hitting coaches or whatever. So there was like they got adored by the fans during the All-Star game and you know, standing O's and a baseball. Hey, thank you for your amazing careers and Hall of Fame trajectory.
We are at an hour and 15 minutes, about 15 minutes past what I wanted to do. So I want to get some last thoughts, and I'm going to start with Yassine. You there?
Yeah, I'm there.
All right. What are your last thoughts before I drop you down, brother?
I would like to say that Did you see the list of Brian Reynolds, like 6 teams he's willing to trade it to accept his no trade clause?
Now, is the Yankees one of them?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't need another outfielder, so don't see that going anywhere.
Now it says the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Mets, the Dodgers, Giants, and Padres.
Yeah, of course, everybody who's got potential going to the World Series. Didn't think that he'd say, I'll waive my no trade clause for the Rockies. I'll go there. Maybe the White Sox.
I mean,
All right, brother. Is that it?
That the Royals were trying to trade for him. I
Okay.
was saying that the Royals are trying to trade for him.
Well, that might be good
Yeah,
for him.
that's it.
All right. I want to thank you for coming up and sharing. Appreciate you being here. Hope to see you back. And I'm going to drop you down.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great night. Sean, last words, last thoughts, last comments.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting, wild trade deadline. And I think out of necessity, I see Brian Cashman being active this trade deadline. But it's like Fort Knox. He ain't gonna. He's not gonna really leak anything, so we'll know when the trade actually happens.
Okay.
But and I think we're gonna pull out of this. We pulled out of the rut. We won one, but I think we're gonna get it together. And I wouldn't be surprised if we end up pulling a win out of the division. Because I mean, the Jays are gonna struggle at some point. We just got to stay with them till then.
Okay. All right. Let's go Yankees.
Let's
And
go
I'm going
Yankees.
to drop you down. And a fee. And there were two.
Right.
Go.
No, I just hope the Yankees need to get back to their winning ways. Hopefully that win from yesterday was lit a fire under them. They desperately needed that win because if they got swept by the Mets, it would have been a second series sweep in a row, and it would have been a 7-game losing streak. But at least they salvaged that. But I'm happy for the win, but we got to see more. We have to see more. But hopefully the bats have come around, so that's good. The bats were starting to come around in that Blue Jays series, even though they were falling short. But the pitching is going to have to try and hold it down as much as they possibly can because right now the pitching is where the weak part is the weakest right now for the Yankees. And that's not just our bullpen. Our starting pitching hasn't exactly been up to par either. So the pitching is going to have to come around, and hopefully they can hold it down. Thank God the All-Star break is next week because they certainly need the break. They certainly need the All-Star break, and thank God that's next week. So let's see what happens after the All-Star break. That's when things are going to start to, that's when really the second half is really going to matter. And July is not an easy schedule by any means. Yeah, I know Ken's talking. I think yeah, you're good, man. You're good. But well, while Ken is on hold, I'll ask the chat real quick. What are you all thinking right now? How are you all feeling? How are you all feeling about the Yankees? Did that win give you any sort of like hope for what this team could get back on track? What are we thinking, folks? What are we thinking? I'll just try to speak for Ken here. I know Ken's kind of talking right now, so let me know what you all are thinking. Because once again, I'm happy that they didn't get swept by the Mets. Everything in yesterday's game clicked for once. They were actually able to hold on to the lead, and there was never a tie game in yesterday's game, and they didn't give up the lead for once, even though it got a little scary there. But hopefully the pitching can hold it down. Rob says it doesn't look good. I understand. But they got the Mariners coming up tomorrow, and then right after that, I believe it's the Cubs. I think against the Mariners, I'm not sleeping on them, but I think they could go 2 out of 3. The Cubs are going to be tough, though. I think the Cubs are going to be tough. I honestly would not be surprised if they only won one of those games against the Cubs and they lose that series, if I'm being honest. But hopefully we get surprised. Who knows? So it looks like Yasin is saying he's not confident with this team with a tough schedule this month. I understand. Sean Browning saying, hey, I feel great. The pitchers will get it back into gear. Hopefully. I mean, that's the weak point. That's the weakest part right now for the Yankees at this very moment. Susan saying have hope, but it depends on what Cash does at the deadline. And that's just it. And, the deadline, I know a lot of fans get upset that the Yankees didn't do enough or they didn't do this, they didn't do that. But, it's not like they're not trying. But also the Yankees tax is also real. Some people may not believe that, but it is also real. Teams are always trying to fleece the Yankees, which this is where, I don't always blame Cashman for putting his foot down. So, but, yeah, I don't know. I mean, last year's deadline was okay. I mean, they got Jazz Chisholm Jr. out of it, and it's paying off for him right now. I like Jazz Chisholm Jr. So, I believe he's got this season and next season with the Yankees, and I think he's a free agent after that. And speaking of Jazz here, I'll throw this question out there real quick, folks. Would Jazz being on this team and Bellinger having a player option, there was a question asked on social media, would you give either one of those guys an extension, or would you give both of those guys an extension? So, sorry,
Jazz the extension.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to carry the chat here, man. So
I appreciate it. I have a sick granddaughter that my wife is trying to deal with, and my grandson is being a nudge too. So
Okay.
I told her we were in the process of signing off. If you could give me 2 more minutes, we'd have been done, honey.
Yeah, do what you got to do, man. I was just trying to carry the chat for you.
But I want to thank you for coming up and talking. I want to thank everybody who was in the stream.
Yep.
Most appreciated. Before I shut it down, if you haven't, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing and share the channel out. Also, look at the Strike Zone. Look at 161 River Ave. Late Night Live with Jason Custodio, and you have Joe with NY Yankee Mania with his coffee. I believe he's running another show at 8 o'clock tonight. So consider going and checking out the other content creators. You'll probably find some value. Have a good time, and we will talk to y'all later. Let's go Yankees.
Let's go.